Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch. The f is this place? Well, behind me is part of that big news I was talking about at the beginning of the year. We bought a building. Not only is it a building, it was once a car wash. Unfortunately, it's not a car wash anymore. And if I wasn't the dumbest guy that I know, I would probably just turn it back into a car wash and start printing money. But instead, like we like to do around here, we're gonna lose it. Why don't we go check out the Lost Cause Ranch's latest purchase? Our biggest one yet. I mean, it's not quite an octa. Now, this whole deal is either gonna turn out to be the best decision I've ever made, or more than likely the worst. I guess let's see what we got going on in here. Although right here, probably the coolest part of the building. Who the heck doesn't need a change machine? I bet you have never seen a setup quite like that. Like I said, this was a car wash, and what we are standing in is what would have held all the car wash equipment, I assume. The tanks, the soap, all the pressure washers, and whatever else is entailed in a car wash. I've never owned one, so I wouldn't know. What I do know is I have enough hot water for anything I could ever need in my lifetime. That is right, there is 6 massive gas-fired instant hot water heaters, along with a crackhead's dream amount of scrap copper. I wish I had a use for these guys, but I don't, so they're going away, but it is neat to see nonetheless. So this area here will be a nice little office in the center of our car wash. We have cinder block walls on each side, along with a secret room in the back. And that secret room in the back holds the real reason as to why we purchased, well, I guess I'm the dumb one. I'll take that blame solely. Purchased this property, and that is right there. Why is that important? We'll get to that in just a second, but before that, let's get a tour of the rest of the defunct car wash, along with the second most important part, where all the magic happens. That's right, we're even equipped with indoor plumbing. And speaking of plumbing, look at this frickin' water line. I've never seen one that big, but this right here is a frickin' 2-inch main water line. We could be the frickin' fire department here. And what else is cool, it's also a ball valve from a local company. They've been around for a bit. And another neat feature, which is pretty much a necessity if you have a car wash in the Midwest, we are equipped with in-floor heat throughout the building. It's Iowa, we have winter. People want to wash the salt off their cars. Doors go up and down all winter. Need to keep the slab warm because there's also water in a car wash, as it turns out. Don't want that to freeze. It's been a few years since this has been a car wash, and the previous owner used it just for storage, not washing cars. But the good thing they did is in the utility room, they cut a door in the wall. Now we can get into what was once the self-service wash bays. You may be able to see in the center here, there used to be another CMU wall that divided each bay from each other. But the previous owner once again did me a solid and knocked that wall out. What we have on this side of the building is now a 30 by 32 foot little 2-bay workshop. We have 12-foot ceilings, which is enough to maybe put some sort of lifting device in probably this neck of the woods. But right here is a cool little spot with tons of potential. We have some awful convenient pass-through bays. There is technically 3 bays in this building, 2 self-serve, 1 that was an automatic car wash, and all of them are pass-through. We have 6 garage doors, and what is also convenient is, unlike the ranch, we are pretty flat all the way around the building. So when we're using this one, it's gonna be a little less challenging than it is back home. And the second coolest thing that was left here, you know, besides the change machine, is right there. We got a freaking flagpole and 25 feet of it. Can you see it right out front? Probably should put the American flag up top with a nice Lost Cause Ranch flag flying right below it. The least cool thing that was left in the building is right there, and that is 30 gallons of used oil. Really? Thing doesn't even have a freaking lid. But I envision this as a nice little potential work area. But before that, we got the pressure washer here. We're gonna have to give the floor a good scrubbing, you know, because there's some of that used oil on it. Not saying none of the Land Rovers aren't gonna add to that, but we wanna start it fresh. In a positive note, we got some new lights installed. We're gonna double that amount, but it's a good start. Now let's go over to our super secure side of the facility. And I say super secure because there's no door from the utility room to get in here. So we gotta pop open the garage door. We're gonna change that, which gives me the opportunity to do a little destruction, just a little, like a door width. But would you frickin' look how wide the 944 Turbo is. This room, which is the far right side of the building, was once an automatic car wash. It is no more, but we have some better plans for this guy. I mean, the smartest thing I could probably do is put an automatic car wash back in it and therefore start making money with the building instead of losing it like my plan is. There is going to be some awesome stuff going on this side of the building. It is walled off and separate, which is going to work out perfectly to keep this action away from everything else. But we are going to have to do a tiny bit of modification. Not much, just a tiny bit. And that involves getting rid of these little ledges. Not gonna have a car wash in here, so those do me no good. They just become inconvenient, especially when you have stuff that barely fits in between them. But for the time being, it's a good place to stuff the 944. Sadly, this guy's been relegated to outdoor storage for the last couple years. But for now, we can change that. A neat little feature with this side is we have these steel tubes running across along the ceiling, which I'm assuming held the automatic car wash tunnel thing. Like I said, no idea how car washes work, so they could have had a completely different use than that, but those are gonna be nice for us. We'll check out what we're working with structure-wise, but I think we can make use of those and make ourselves a little overhead crane that will give us the ability to hit this entire area. We all know it wouldn't be a Lost Cause Ranch project if it didn't need a little bit of work, and we're probably gonna have to do something with the tin on the ceiling. As it turns out, car washes are wet and water leads to rust. Thankfully, the majority of the building is CMUs. Let's take a peek around back. Very well maintained, as you can see. On top of oil, I also inherited some plywood. That's fantastic. Along with a pile of gravel. Now the gravel and these huge chunks of limestone, I'm actually all right with those staying here. We can do something cool with these. But around back, we have an eco challenge. See, our little flex space is gonna come in handy because we got too many freaking things. So for the next little bit, until we decide exactly what we're gonna do with this place, we bought ourselves a very overpriced storage unit. But like I said, with the area out front, we have tons of flat paved lot at this building, which is going to be awful nice because most of my stuff's broken and it has to get drug around. We're also going to take the opportunity of that chain link fence and trees back there to fence off the rest of the back area to give us some nice, secure outdoor storage. But let's get back to this room and let me tell you the main reason as to why this building checks all the boxes. That's behind this right here. Hopefully I can do this without electrocuting myself. That would be less than ideal. Right here, you astute US electricians may be able to count. 1, 2, 3. And a neutral. That means we have frickin' 3-phase power. I don't know about across the pond, but in my neck of the woods, 3-phase power is a little difficult to get, especially in residential settings. Here, we're obviously in a commercial setting and have 3-phase power with a nice 200 amp panel. We didn't even have frickin' 3-phase power at our dealership, just to give you an idea. But just wait, there's more. Over here, we have another service coming in from outside. Apparently car washes are a little more power hungry than I ever knew, but that's good. What's not good is this is a bit of a mess, and I don't know what half the frickin' shit does, so we'll have to figure that out. But that 3-phase service is gonna be very beneficial in the future of the Lost Cause Ranch. On the other side of this wall is that automatic car wash bay, and some of you guys may be able to guess it, but there is gonna be a few pieces of machinery that will be going over there to make the future of the Lost Cause Ranch quite exciting. But we will fill you in more along the way. There's some of the stuff going on that I just can't show you right at the moment, but I wanted to make sure you guys were in on what has been going on in the last couple months. This was in the works before we went out to Maine for the winter romp. Been busy around here, and thankfully for you, that's gonna mean more videos per week. I mean, we did just class the joint up a bit. So there is our newest addition to the ranch. No, it was not a Land Rover. It just might facilitate getting more Land Rovers in the future. But yeah, we now have a car wash. That is no longer a car wash. You know, as one might call it, a bit of a lost cause.